Apart from that, this is all there is. There's nothing to say, really. There is no message, there's no teaching. All there is, so to speak, is what apparently happens, which is just unknowably itself. It's unknowable, it's incomprehensible, and it can't be found, it's never been lost, so to speak. But there just isn't anyone within that. There isn't a happening and someone to whom this is happening, or who is doing stuff, who is doing happening, so to speak. In that sense, there's not much more to say than that, actually. That's it, basically. That was short today. Every seeking is futile, so to speak. It's incomprehensible. Yes, thanks. And I guess it's inexperienciable and not unexperienciable. So yes, how it is totally inexperienced already. Awareness is the dream, so to speak. I am something which is real, which is aware of a real happening, of a real appearance, whatever, is the dream, so to speak. And of course, when I say is the dream, that also sounds quite solid. It basically means there just isn't really anything like that. There's just what apparently happens all the time, timelessly in the end, which is incomprehensible, inexperienced already, unknowable, and all those things. And no one knows that. All that I've said is unknowable as well. It's not that something or someone becomes aware of that. So no one will become aware of anything, really. There is no realization. There's nothing to get. Never, so to speak. Okay, first questions. Are things solid? Well, there are there aren't things, so no. That is mean. The question is not if things are solid or not. Are things real or unreal? Are things good or bad? In order for there to be things, you already need someone to be aware of them. And this someone, so to speak, is illusory. So how things are, so to speak, is actually very irrelevant. Can't be known anyway. There can be things without someone. Yes, but only theoretically. Conceptually, of course, yes. Conceptually, this is thinkable. It is possible. But again, in order to make up that concept, you still would need someone to believe in one possibility and to believe in a possible other possibility. But theoretically, of course, there could be anything. But still, it would just be pure speculation.
Yes.
That was very silent. Someone was speaking. Hello?
That was me. Can you hear me better?
Ah, yes, now it's better. Yes. Hey.
Hi. So, for example, there's a bed behind you.
Whoa.
So is would you say it's not solid? Once you touch it, it's going to be solid, right? But I know you say there's no experience, but you're not going to run into a bed because like it's holographic or something like that. It is solid, right? It's going to hit you once you walk up to it or try to walk through it. So
That's
like that,
what, that's what seems to be happening, but no one knows this. I
right?
don't also claim, that's the thing, I don't also claim the opposite. I don't claim, yes, there is a bed, but it's fluid or something. This would be another claim. There's just nothing there which could confirm, so to speak, that the bed is solid, that there is a bed, and that on top it's even solid.
So I understand that there's nobody, but then there could be solid things without there being somebody. For example, like Earth was was in existence without any humans walking on Earth. So apparently, like there was everything there. So like that's my train of thought. Like that's what I'm thinking. So I don't know if
Well,
you
in
know.
the end, as I said, this can't be neither confirmed nor the opposite of confirmed. The thing is that this what you just made up, as I said, it's theoretically thinkable, but it would still just be pure speculation. In the
So
end, coming from someone,
mhm,
assuming there to be a certain reality which could be in a certain way. But
mhm.
yeah, conceptually, of course, it could be this, it could be that. We could
But
all
then
be in the stomach of a huge elephant or whatever. Yeah.
that would mean anything that you say or anything that we discuss, like it's we can't really say anything about it then.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But then our discussion, like the things you say are they're they seem very intelligent, very well thought out, logical. A lot of things are logical. Like it makes sense to me with when you say there's nobody there. So like it's logical to me. So yeah, I
It's a
don't get
bit
it.
like the whole universe. It sounds it looks very sophisticated. Sometimes it even seem to make sense. It's logical and but that's appearance. Same with the word, same with the message, same with our discussions.
So can we say like since nothing is logical, then that brings in possibility for everything. It brings in the possibility of time travel. It brings in the possibility of aliens. It brings in the possibility of um, you know anything that you can possibly think of. But then it doesn't happen. Like that's not common experience. So
That's the thing. In theoretically, energetically, it's open to anything. And yes, there is nothing which would say no to time travel and whatever.
mhm.
But apparently, there's just what seems to be happening for no reason. Not because it has to be like that. It just is apparently like that, which again
Apparently,
isn't logical.
no, I would say like things that do happen are logical. Like, yeah, I know if I step outside my apartment, I'll go to the elevator, I'll go down. I'm doing it for like, for the entire year. So it is logical. It seems like what appears to be is logical, but then there is a possibility of everything happening, but then it sort of doesn't happen that way. Most of the time it is logical. It's mostly logical things that are happening, like if I'm going to walk, there's going to be a floor under, and under my feet, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's all right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with things seeming logical to you.
Hmm.
But in a way, the logic you imply, or the logic you are talking about, implies already something that's happening really. So they go together, the illusion of a real happening and the assumption that this somehow follows rules, logic, some law. They just go together. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but we
One
can.
doesn't really go without the other.
Right, but you would agree as well, right? Apparently, even though if it's apparent, it does seem to be logical for like maybe 99% of the time. And some things that are illogical that happen that be like very rare.
Oh, no, 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 I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that far. It doesn't
Because I
seem logical to me.
so what happens normally happens appear illogical to you?
Well, see, then it would be the opposite, but you're still operating within something happening.
Mm.
Logic, illogical, doesn't, who cares, so to speak.
I guess I'm still talking from within a story. So I'm like in the story, it seems like things are logical, and that's 99% of the time. And my question was, you would agree that in the story, apparently, things are logical. That's how things happen. So yeah, but would
Yeah,
you say?
well, I know, well, of course, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't bring the word logic in. But yes, the very unexpected thing is that wholeness is exactly how it is, which
Mhm.
is walking through the door, going to the grocery store, even paying for what you want to have, stuff like that. Yeah, that's what seems to be happening, but not really because it follows any rules or logic.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So the rules and logic is the story.
So to speak, yes, one could say so.
Okay. Okay.
Or it's an underlying assumption that comes from the person. It tries to see logic and stuff like that, actually, whenever it can, to make the world safe. So it's more like a hope, an assumption. And of course, it tries to squeeze everything it experiences into its concept. So it loves to see logic, rules.
So then, what
And
you're
if possible, it would love to see it 100%, always. And of course, in a way, the invention of the concept of God, for example, is the attempt to make everything logical. You
Mhm.
don't even need logic to make everything explainable, so to
Mhm.
speak. So in that sense, I would say it's rather a method or an attempt to see logic where actually there just isn't any.
So you're saying that there's absolutely no concept of anything, like it, so whatever happens is just happening. There's no concept or there's no method. There's can't be
Oh,
explained.
totally, of course. How it really is, how sitting in front of a screen really is neither conceptual, nor knowable, nor comprehensible. Already, it's
Right.
a dream that this
And
can be conceptualized, or that any kind of concept can even approach this. No, it can't.
Mhm. And me as an
And it does,
individual.
and sorry, and it doesn't even matter. Not that it matters. Sitting in front of a screen and talking about oneness or whatever, about what we seem to do here, doesn't need to be conceptualized at all. It just happens anyway, no matter who believes what about it. It still is exactly as it is, all the time, so to speak, or timelessly.
Mhm. Yeah, I would like for me as an individual, it's something like I like the idea, and it'll make life very simple if things don't really mean anything. But I guess I can't really I can't even force myself to have that belief, because it's the sort of feedback I get from day to day interacting with people, what I do, just reinforces the story, reinforces concepts, reinforces logic with
Yeah.
everything. So
Well, yeah, the person will just be reinforced by, in a way, the person apparently reinforces itself, but in those things. But yes, yeah, yeah.
if I
But
try
in a
to,
very funny way, the person thinking that nothing means anything or that everything is illogical, somehow the person tries to make this into logic
Mhm.
too.
I guess any sort of um, any sort of attempt to try to believe it or accept it is just very, very difficult. It's just going to be too much for an individual to accept or internalize. Like, I've tried doing that. Like, I've tried to internalize this message, but doesn't it's just too much. Like, I get lost in the story
Oh, of
before I know it.
course, because this whole thing is coming from an illusion, namely
Mhm.
that you are separate and that you can internalize everything.
Mhm.
That's no, you are already internalized. It's not that you can, I mean, that's the constant seeking, of course. I'm now here in how can I bring fulfillment within my awareness? How can I make God my experience? And that's what, of course, has to fail. Of course.
So while I'm listening to you, Tony or Jim, like I have these moments where I feel relaxation, where like my mind is not racing as much, or there's sort of an acceptance of this message, but then it's very short-lived. It doesn't last. It'll go away as soon as I, get back to real life. It just goes away.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, in the end, my assumption, or just it's a picture, but my assumption is not really that you accept it in between. Probably there's just less seeking for wholeness.
hmm
But yeah, this is not a method, This doesn't
right.
try to make this go away. So all of that would just be what happens. A break in seeking or slowing down of seeking, and then just a speeding up again.
So what causes that slowing down of seeking? What's happening there? Is it the me trying
Oh no, it's
attempt?
just what apparently happens.
Right.
It's neither
Okay.
yeah, I'm sorry. It's neither forced nor intended, nor is anything or anyone doing it. Neither of those. Neither the speed, neither the slowing down of seeking is someone's fault. Did someone do, nor the speeding up again. It just was what apparently happened for no reason.
hmm Okay. Okay. That's really answer. There's no answer. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Andreas,
Yes.
can I say something while we're on this subject?
Yes, please.
Um, it's like I feel like the human brain is sophisticated enough, and as it goes to school and learns, it almost develops these pathways, and some sort of a framework is needed for it, for it to think that it can function. And what you're sharing here, what we're talking about, completely outside of that, really, that sort of world of something is needed for me to be, you know,
Yes.
some sort of
Totally.
rules. Yeah, I mean, science is really another religion. It just fits into that. You can take out one thing and put in another downloadable disk, in a way. And what's interesting is that there aren't even any facts because there isn't anything that's true.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nothing is
And
true.
that's why in a way, like what was going on with Trump was gorgeous because facts were just like, whatever he made up in his mind is what was, and that was it, and now, it was like facts were disappearing too in the real world, and that's what
Oh,
we're
totally, totally. But in a very funny way, it was replaced by something that's quite fashionable these days, and also in spirituality. So they all say, don't follow your thoughts, follow your feelings.
Mm,
What you believe to be true, this is your truth. There are a lot of spiritual teachings around which exactly teach that. This is the way to live. Skip the mind, don't believe in the mind, follow your feeling, follow your heart, create your own truth by feeling how you feel and stuff like that. It's the same what Trump does. I mean,
mm.
he wasn't really into peace and love and heal the
No,
world, but it was the same. What you feel is true. What I feel is true. And this is what he sold.
yeah. Did
And
you see
in a
that?
very funny way, sorry, one more sentence.
Yeah, please.
But of course, this fact thing is all somehow over. There is so many facts. Who can believe in that anymore? So
Yeah, I was reading something about from in an article this morning about the news by this guy Matt Taibbi, who's an independent journalist, and he said, news has drifted away because they realize that they can make more money by adhering to an audience and giving them the facts that they want to hear,
hmm.
rather than rather than just saying this is what and this is what and this is what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's like listening to the news is like going to church.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listening to anything is like going to church.
Well, what about this?
Well, you still listen or what?
Touche.
That's all right.
It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. For the one who listens, he's looking for truth or a feeling or something. So for the seeker, the seeker approaches this message as it would approach anything, religion, something.
Mm.
Apparently.
Could you call the sense of me artificial?
Well, yeah, maybe I did. Yeah. Which is rather a description.
Yeah.
It's not, there isn't really something artificial.
Yeah, because I heard that the other day, and it just makes it feel exactly like, how can anything be artificial?
Exactly. It turns out that, yeah.
Makes it feel wrong or something.
Yeah, I know, artificial, but anything I say makes it sound wrong. Even if I say the me is an illusion, so the person immediately says, well, illusion? Who wants that? I want the truth.
Yeah.
So
Man.
I can't really say it in a good way. Or that it sounds good for the person.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Okay. I go on in the chat a bit. Or if someone wants to say something, that's first. Okay.
Yeah, Andreas.
Yes.
I thought in the first question today, came to my mind that solidity of things and logic is in a way related in terms of it's both totally relative.
Oh, of course.
It completely depends on the perceiver or the way perception happens, and it's just it completely disappears in that understanding in a way.
Yes, I mean, yes and no. The thing is, the person can still invent another concept. Like, I mean, most people, or there are a lot of people who know today that truth is relative. And suddenly you end up everyone having his or her own truth. So it's still you have your truth and you need to follow this. So, but yes, it's totally relative. And to some degree, even the person can see that.
Yeah, even logic.
Oh, totally.
See something that because it's such a let's say everything that is logic in our society or culture is kind of set in stone. Yeah, it's logic, and therefore it's the absolute truth. Yeah, and then comes a discovery that puts that logic kind of
upside down,
or
at least
evaluated. Yeah, and then yeah, but it's such a big fundament of everything, and to see that there's just kind of relative, kind of in the air.
Oh, exactly. It's pure invention in the end.
Yeah,
it's
so
just invented. Yeah. Okay, question or no comment. I discovered a new word last night. I have a hard time speaking it in German, so I think in English it may come out wrong. Nuomenon, I have no idea. Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's something to it. Yeah. Okay, next comment. One quantum physicist says that this game of objective reality is childish and unsustainable. What would you say about that? Well, yeah, it's the same. I mean, I can't do it differently too, but it turns it into something wrong in a way. But I wouldn't say childish, because as long as it happens, it's what happens. But of course, the sense of I, has some childish aspects, at least. Well, it's not, the I is not just an adult, it's also the small child with 4, 5, 6 years old and all the needs that dance around that. So it somehow may give the impression that it's childish. Yeah. Is judgment happening, or where is coming from? Well, apparently judgment is happening. It's a functioning brain. So in that sense, there is functioning. There is judgment, but there isn't anyone, so to speak, who turns it into a truth. It's the same with just what we're talking about. The person would just believe its judgment, which is not wrong. It doesn't really bother anyone except the person, in a way, who suffers from its own judgments. So when there's the thought, the world is bad, the person would just believe that thought and somehow suffer from it. It would believe that this is the truth, that there is a real world and the world is bad and I'm living in this world. Ugh. Even to say it is solid or whatever, it doesn't mean anything. My long rights. Oh yes, of course. Yeah. Nothing means anything. Yeah.
Andreas?
Yes.
No, continue.
Yeah, I forgot.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had the question about the judgments, and you talk about the function of the brain. So it's like listening to you from this side, it feels like you're saying that the brain exists.
Well, I said in the story, that's what apparently happens.
Oh, okay, the brain exists in the story, and then.
Well, no one knows that, but what seems to be happening is knowing, I like that and I don't want that. This is good, this is bad. That's what seems to be happening. But yeah,
So
I know
you
to
can say
invent
that
the brain
judgments. You can say that judgments are happening. Then that's all.
Yes.
There's no need of the explanation of the brain because it's like giving a justification to that happening.
Yes, or there would also no need to just call it, it's a happening. But yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I leave the brain out. That's better.
No, I just because it confuses me. That's why I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't want to.
Okay.
Question: what you say means that also freedom is illusory? Well, it depends on what you regard as freedom, but yes, there is no such thing as freedom. Yes, as a circumstance or a state or something. Of course not. No one is free. And a comment: this is hopeless. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. It's everything. So there isn't anything else you can hope for, except in the dream, of course. It's already everything. Question: maybe it makes sense to add for suggested contribution on your website some card payment option as well, or some more common payment methods. I'm actually, to be honest, I'm actually working on that already, but it's not that easy. It's much more difficult than I thought, but hopefully within the next few weeks, you will be able to pay with credit card somehow. Yeah, so I was asked to do that.
Try Square. Have you
What?
tried Square yet? Square.
No.
No?
No. I have to look it up. Yeah. I suspect that a lot of people just don't have PayPal. Yeah, that's what I found out too. Yeah. So I'll work on the payment options. Question: meaning can only exist with a me. Without a me, there is no meaning. Yes, exactly. Yes, of course. When there is no experiencer, there is no reality experienced, which could or couldn't have meaning. Okay, comment. Living becomes very difficult with this message. because it takes away all sense, meaning, goals, motivation. It's rather depressing than liberating. Yes, that can happen, of course. Yeah, of course. It's like when the person, so to speak, loses all its toys, so to speak. It's just left with its own presence, which is unfulfilling. So yes, of course, it seems the person is happily seeking as long as there's a possible goal, as long it's for something, as long as I might become a fulfilled me, I'm happily doing whatever I need to do in order to become that happy me. But yeah, if that dream is shattered, so to speak, then it can become hard for the me, so to speak, which is still there. Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
For decades, people can happily seek for decades, you know, when they have motivation, you know.
Oh, most people do this for all their life.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
yeah, of course. Oh, most people just think that what they do will just pay off in the end until they die. And there is nothing wrong with that. This doesn't turn it into something wrong. It's just what seems to be happening, but it's a dream. It's a dreamt reality. Because of course they will never get anything at the end. But it doesn't matter. This doesn't matter too, because there would be no one there anymore to get that. Oh, I didn't get anything. No, it's not. No, for most people, not even that happens. It's just over, out of nothing. But there's absolutely nothing to win anywhere.
Yeah, nothing to win anyway, anywhere.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I found it that with motivation, it's like, for me, it's like it starts up and it goes on for a little bit and then it goes, yeah, and then it starts again, and then.
So there are all varieties, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought.
Exactly.
That's an
Like trying to start up an old engine or something.
Yeah, exactly. And it may not even reach the interesting. Well, this is
Yeah.
Yeah. Question. Is calling emptiness correct? Well, that's the thing. Of course, there just is no right or wrong word, because as we spoke, what happens, what seems to be happening, which is everything, just is not knowable. It's not knowable as emptiness. It's not knowable to be wholeness. This can't be known. If you find a right name for what seems to be happening, let me know. In that sense, why not emptiness? But there is no ness. It's not wholeness, emptiness. It's not. There is no absolute reality in those things. Maybe unknowable instead of emptiness. Yeah, as I said, you can say anything you want, but seen from the person, it's the same with the first question, actually, with the things, asking, are things solid? So it's, can you call this emptiness? Can you call this wholeness? But seen from the person, you always start with a claim that there at least is a this. And then you talk about what is this? Emptiness, wholeness. But there is no real this in the first place. I mean, maybe that's the thing. Some religious people out of that problem created another word. They called it God. But then the same game started. Exactly question. But I feel so free, loving this message. Oh yeah, can happen too. All of it can happen. There is no certain predictable outcome. Okay, and there's a question. I was a little late to the meeting. Did I miss something substantial? And there's a mean answer. Yeah, he gave the secret key in the first minute. Yes, I usually say everything in the first minute, in the first 3, 4, 5 minutes, and afterwards it's just so. No, you didn't miss anything substantial, because there isn't anyone and there is nothing to get, and this doesn't have a goal, and no, this is it. Can't be missed. There's nothing to miss. Which might be one of the person's fears, to miss the actual thing. Question: who will recognize when the me falls away? Oh, no one will recognize that. No. There just will be no me anymore, but for no one. So there can be an apparent recognition, but this would be meaningless. Liberation is not recognizing that there is no me. That's what the person thinks. When I recognize that the me has gone, then I won the prize. No. So what is liberation? Well, nothing really, basically. It doesn't exist. That's the thing. There is no such thing as liberation, or a state called liberation, or something you will reach and then be liberated. No, this is it. That's all there is. There isn't anything else.
Andreas?
Yes.
Hi. Within the story, we have like we have the brain, and we have like the left brain and the right brain, and we have like feminine and masculine, and we have like people who are like more left brain, and other people are like more right brained, and I mean you can see that kind of stuff. I mean, in the world, I mean this is what seems to happen. Is it also a story, like since we start measuring things, like, you know, there is left and there is right and there is like all kind of things happening?
Of course. Oh,
it's
yes.
also within the story.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So all that collapse as well at the end.
Yeah, one could say so. Yes, absolutely.
Is it just another story to say like like when all collapses, it's like that when there is no duality anymore, the left and the right became to be like one, like you've, instead of two brains, you have like one brain. Is it also another story?
I just had the thought it's not really becoming one brain. It's actually becoming non-brain.
Non-brain.
Of course. I mean, in a way, I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
The thing is that they never really existed, good or bad, left, right, male, female, and that stuff. And in a way, those ideas, they just melt into something, into nothing, into something that's unknowable, which is very unspiritual.
Right.
In a way, I mean, you know, there's no right or wrong word and all that stuff, but my impression is that the person still has the idea that kind of this melts into one, or into true reality, and suddenly you have something that's whole and complete and woo. But in the end, those ideas just melt, and what's left is totally unknowable. But yes, of course, those turn out to be dreams too, male, female, good, bad,
Yeah,
left,
so
right,
so I was wondering, like, all these things exist since you start measuring things and naming things and like giving names to things, and like all the stories start to exist as they are. Since you start measuring, like, I mean, we are separated, so we're looking outside ourselves to other things, and we start measuring, and I say this is this, and this is female, this is male, this is left, this is right.
Exactly, and the person thinks that these are real things which can be known, and they mean something.
Right.
And to understand more of it means even more. Yeah.
So that's just,
Yeah, but it's still knowing things which don't really exist.
Right. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Comment: the unknown is the joy which just remains unknown. Yes. I wanted to donate a huge amount of money to you, but then I remembered that you don't exist. Yeah. That's how I assume that's how it often goes. Yeah.
If I make a lot of money and give you a lot of money, will you become my guru?
That's me. Well, the problem is maybe even if I would try, I might fail. That's the thing. And I do have some acting skills. If they would be enough, I don't know.
I'll have pictures of you all over my wall.
It might just be impossible. I might not be able to keep up the role. That's the thing. One time and it might work, and second time I already forgot. Oh fuck, I was his guru. About how much money do we speak?
I don't know. It depends. We can start the negotiations. Payments of
Spiritual prostitute.
Andreas Magdalene.
I have to go in the cellar and find some of the old spiritual books to reinvent some methods. It will not be something new, but
Just give me something to do. I don't care what it is. Just tell me, it'll get me somewhere. I'll be good for a while.
well, I would need some selfless service in my flat.
I don't know about that. I don't. Yeah, don't get me cleaning. I gotta clean my shit first before I clean yours. This whole thing seems to be falling apart right now.
Yeah, that's how the seekers are today. Yeah, you say them what to do, and then they say, "Well, no, not this. Give me something else." Can't work with that.
You gotta be politically correct these days, you know.
Yeah. Anyone else interested in this selfless service thing, by the way? No, okay.
Andreas, just for fun, I just had the idea the other day. let's say if in your system this me would have never arisen, would that change in how you deal or dealing happens with so-called me's? You know, human interaction from a perspective of not having the history of being in that me.
Being me, oh, you know, it's pure speculation.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But of course, probably it wouldn't be loaded so much with concepts and neuroses and stuff like that.
Okay.
Maybe, who knows?
Mm.
You know, when it was never needed to behave, so to speak.
Yeah.
When it was never really that someone else loves you or gives you what
Right,
you need
right.
and that stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, it's possible. Or at least thinkable.
Yeah. It's a game in like in a way to, or yeah.
Yeah.
But I found it interesting if let's say it's kind of this let's say this jungle topic on another level, you know, like some people grow up in the jungle and they don't get cultured, or they don't get the kind of a social conditioning, yeah, and they behave totally different in let's say society then. And so I wondered if the me doesn't occur in a person, if the interaction would be kind of have a different color or a different scenario.
Yeah, but this would just be a different social. This would be a different social conditioning, which could, of course, happen for someone. So you could have in very simplified cultures, you would have a very simplified conditioning, but they could still assume themselves to be people.
Yeah.
The whole functioning just has different rules. So it wouldn't follow. That's actually what we talked about before. It wouldn't necessarily follow the logic that we imply to our behavior, which to big parts seem to be cultural, but there still could be someone. So in as much as they would be lost in the big cities here, as I would be lost throwing out in the jungle. Apparently lost, of course. What does Christmas mean to you? Well, there just is no Christmas really, so. And there is no you to whom it could mean anything. But we will still celebrate, you know, with food and family, and we have a Christmas tree here and so on, and presents. It was a bit tough. I needed my family to tell what I'm wishing for, and this kept me busy for quite a few days, actually. Because I had to invent something. All right. Question. See, these are the problems I have to deal with. Okay, actually, almost everything revolves around the self in our society. Yes, one could say so. I mean, the whole idea of society is based on the assumption that there are many selves which somehow live together. And of course, as I said, the whole idea of society is based on that there are people. So they all, all concepts around society, of course, dance around this. There being people who need things, who have to be considered, for whom this is about, and who need the rules and all that stuff. Yeah. But there's no society. It's a dream. Society is a dream. There is no me. There are no others. There is no society. There's just what apparently happens. Question: can the child be influenced by growing in a family with no me father? Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you know, of course, a child growing up is nothing in the story. Nothing is without influencing each other. So. I sometimes joke that I'm a bit afraid when he's an adult or something, needing to go to therapy, complaining that he never had a father or something. So, but we'll see. I'm quite okay so far, I think.
Well, really, no one ever had a father.
Yeah, true. Totally true. Yes.
Unless you hate your mother and father, unless you hate your brother and sister, thou shalt not enter the kingdom of heaven.
Oh, yes, they were never real. Absolutely. Totally. Thank you. Good news for most people.
Too bad he didn't say husband and wife.
There is no one.
wondering about this whole being in love thing. It's quite interesting because the feeling is almost the same always. Whether you lose it or you're being in love with somebody, it's always, the feeling is the same. Doesn't matter who the person is. They're almost like interchangeable, really.
Oh yes, of course. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's in the end, it's just what seems to be happening. And of course, the person adds meaning to it. The person almost,
This is the real one, yeah.
exactly. Oh, this is the person which will fulfill me in the end. That's the hope. And the thing is, because it feels like that, it must be like that. Because I feel as beautiful as I do by being in love. This means the other one must be the right person.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is that different now?
Well, in the end, that dream dropped. Yes. Yeah. That dream dropped. And a lot of the high, I mean, they both go together. There is this feeling of in loveness, but the person gets really high on this. This is the right one. This is so gorgeous. This is so beautiful. It somehow makes it bigger and bigger, and in a way that drops. There can still be in loveness or feeling love, so to speak, when it happens, which would be what apparently happens. But this whole story would be gone about this fulfillment thing, or is gone, basically. That now this is the answer to my seeking. It's gone because there isn't anyone seeking in the first place.
Yeah, in a normal relationship, they put that weight onto each other that you need to fulfill me and you need to fulfill me. And that's an impossible task, really, on anybody's part.
Oh, it's impossible. Oh, it's totally impossible. It never works. And this becomes obvious quite quickly after this first months, years are over. Yeah, it's a dream. It's a dream that there are people in the first place. But of course, as long as there are me's, there will be some trading game in a relationship, in friendship, even in an enemy relationship. There is some trading going on, but the relationship is loaded with the most meaning. I think it's before spirituality and probably also before money, one of the most important methods for the person, where it assumes fulfillment in finding the right partner or in relationship. That's why there is a huge market in the attempt to make relationships work. A huge market of books, advices, ideas. It's much, much more books than becoming enlightened and that stuff.
Yeah. It's interesting. There's a big market for things that are really impossible.
Well, all of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Impossible regarding the idea that you can gain something from it. As I said, some of the methods even do work to some degree. Having a more harmonious relationship, earning more money, creating feelings of love when you meditate every day or whatever, but they will never pay off. They never carry what the person actually hopes to get from them, this fulfillment stuff. And same in relationship, of course. But not because a relationship can't provide that. In the end, the whole idea of there being a relationship is a dream in the first place. There isn't really.
So, Andreas, all these books that are written and in any subject actually are written by nobody, actually.
Oh yeah, of course.
So there are
that.
things that are naturally happening, so there is nothing right or wrong with them.
Oh yes, including the illusion that there is someone, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Oh, no. how it apparently is whole already. And this includes most people assuming themselves to be someone, reading all kinds of books. Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Oh, that's it. Yeah, I have nothing against that. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, that's wholeness.
Yeah. So that's wholeness. That's it. I wanted to get there.
Yeah.
If it was right, I don't know. Okay.
No, it's neither right nor wrong.
Right. Right. Right or wrong, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're unfulfilling. The idea that you can read, anybody's going to read them and they're going to fulfill or get you to a certain place is.
It's apparently unfulfilling. But of course, this whole idea that something is fulfilling or unfulfilling is part of the dream. In that sense, fulfillment isn't, there is no such thing as fulfillment for someone.
Yeah. So it's yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wish something worked, you know?
Yes, in a way, yes. I mean, seen from the dream, of course, the person would love if something would work. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But in the end, it may turn out that it's freedom, that nothing works and nothing needs to work. But yeah, of course. Seen from the person, the hope is that something works finally, please.
I mean, the idea of picking up some sort of a book where they get me just even the idea is exhausting.
Yeah, totally. Oh, of course. Seeking is exhausting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, those books were naturally happening, and it's also naturally happening that someone picks it up and read it.
Yeah,
And it may help, let's say, a book of I don't know, how to get better relationships or whatever. It may work for someone and it doesn't for someone else. And then again, this is naturally happening. No one is making it happen.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's happening for no one.
Yes, I mean, regarding this idea of personal fulfillment, it will never work, but it may give the impression that it works. Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I mean, everything was for no one. Hitler was for no one. No one ever got killed. There were no wars. Everything was for no one in that sense. So, whee! Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Do the last two. Oh, someone else?
It's just a few words.
Yeah.
I mean, in any apparent relationships, good or bad, fighting relationship or harmonious relationship, just there isn't anyone in it.
Yes.
In other words, there is no real relationship because it is no one in any apparent relationship.
Yes, exactly. There just isn't anyone. Oh, totally. Of course.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a parent loving relationship or parent terrible relationship. Just in a way, there's no real difference. I mean, just apparently different.
Yes, that's a big surprise. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was it.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, quickly the last two comments. Question: do you see any continuity in what is happening? Oh no, of course. There is no, of course not. There is no continuity. No, there isn't. Continuity is a dream. Nothing goes on. There is no happening that goes on. And the last comment: I even lose the motivation to help other people when they are in need, because nothing exists. All right, that sounds a bit conceptual, but of course, if it is what apparently happens, that you don't help anymore, or that this body doesn't help anymore, that's all right. But Joey said he never really had that. Yeah, there are also those kind of people. Yes. But on the other hand, if helping would be what happens, would be what apparently happens, there wouldn't be anyone there being able to prevent it from happening. So, but yeah, that's all right. There isn't anyone. No one needs help, of course. And there is no one who could help. Helping might happen or not, whatever that is. Which brings me back to my flat. No, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. All right. I think that's it. Just because we spoke a lot about money, just one thank you very much for all those who donated already. I'm very grateful for that, and I appreciate that a lot. It's lovely. Thank you very much. All right. That's it, basically. There is no message. There's nothing to do and nothing to not do. There isn't anyone in the first place. What happens, what seems to be happening is just naturally whole. It's ordinary, it's simple, it's plain. There's nothing to get and nothing has been lost. It's just this, exactly how it is. Thank you very much for joining. And there will be one more talk tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And this evening for Germany, it's evening, there is something with Nothing FM. I don't know if you've heard about that. You will find it on my website.
Is that today?
That's today, yes.
Yeah.
It's 6 o'clock German time.
Is it going to be in German?
No, it's going to be in English. No.
Oh, okay.
This will be
Great.
English, then tomorrow at 1, and then there'll be a Christmas break.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you very much.
Nice
Andreas.
to see you.
Nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Christmas.
Bye. Yes, same to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you. Ciao.
Bye.